of the Society of Air Force Nurses. The Society is a nonprofit veterans organization comprised of former, retired, and current Air Force nurses whose purpose it is to provide support and social opportunities for its members by sharing and caring for each other. Joining us today to pay tribute in their respects to help conduct the Nightingale tribute are members of the Travis chapter of the Society of Air Force Nurses, other military nurses, and nurses who worked with Terry in the community and at Solano College. The Nightingale tribute was designed and developed by the Kansas State Nurses Association in 2003. It is used by the Society of Air Force Nurses to recognize any former Air Force nurse and U.S. Army Air Corps flight nurses for their service and for their service to the public and their country. Both the profession of nursing and the profession of arms are a calling and a way of life. Nursing is a service profession that cannot be practiced in isolation. Nurses rely on each other for their synergistic effect of teamwork and our efforts to give, as do military service members in their efforts to defend our nation. It is appropriate that we honor our colleagues and friends, not only during their careers, but also at the end of their life's journey. My remarks will give you a thumbnail sketch of Terry DiResta's Air Force career. I hesitated because in my writing here I have Teresa, and I was told if I called her Teresa, she'd be very angry. She received her Bachelor's of Science in Nursing from Wagner College, Staten Island, New York in 1976, and a Master's of Science degree in Education from Troy State University in 1991. She was commissioned as a first lieutenant in August 1979 and began her Air Force career as a staff nurse in the Coronary Care Unit at Travis Air Force Base, California. A year later, she was assigned to the multi-service ward at Incirlik Air Base, Turkey. This was followed by a 3-year assignment to Wiesbaden, Germany, where she worked as a staff nurse in the intensive care unit and assistant charge nurse in the medical unit. In February 1984, she graduated from flight nurse school at Brooks Air Force Base, Texas, and was assigned to the 1st Aeromedical Evacuation Squadron at Pope Air Force Base, North Carolina. There she served as flight nurse instructor and chief of training. During this assignment, she was named Military Airlift Command Nurse of the Year for 1986.
Wow.
In October 1987, she was assigned as Chief Health Professional Recruiter in the recruiting squadron at Oakland, California, and was named Headquarters Recruiting Service Nurse of the Year in 1989. Upon completion of that assignment, she returned overseas to the 51st Medical Group at Osan Air Base, Korea, as the Chief of Operational Services. From 1991 to 1994, she was assigned to the 48th Medical Group at RAF Lakenheath, United Kingdom, as the nurse manager of the multi-service unit, health promotions, and finally, assistant chief nurse. In 1994, Terry returned to the aeromedical evacuation community as an instructor at Flight Nurse School, Department of Aerospace Medicine at Brooks Air Force Base. A year later, she was appointed director of the Battlefield Nursing Course. In May 1997, she finally realized a career-long dream when she was assigned to the 86th Aeromedical Evacuation Squadron at Ramstein Air Base, Germany. She was promoted to the rank of Lieutenant Colonel November 1st, 1995, and retired in 2000. Terry's decoration and awards included the Air Force Achievement Medal with 1 device, the Air Force Commendation Medal with 1 device, the Aerial Achievement Award, Meritorious Service Medal with 5 devices, Air Force Longevity Service Award with 4 devices, the Air Force Outstanding Unit Award with 2 devices, the Air Force Training Ribbon, the Air Force Overseas Short-Term Ribbon with 1 device, the Air Force Long-Term Overseas Ribbon with 3 devices, the Combat Readiness Medal, and the Small Marks Expert Marksmanship Ribbon. Terry attended numerous Air Force nursing courses, including Nurse Flight School, Battlefield Nursing, Nursing Service Management, Air Force Recruiting Officer School, Academic Instructor Course, Management of Biologic and Chemical Casualty courses, Field Instructor courses, Nursing Executive Management Symposiums, and she was a distinguished graduate of Squadron Officer School and completed Air Command and Staff by Symposium. Terry spent 10 years as a clinical nurse, 8 years as a flight nurse, and 2 years in nursing administration. Of those 20 plus years, 11 years were spent overseas. Terry was promoted to the rank of colonel. However, after a career of 20 years, 5 months, and 18 days, she retired from the Air Force, but not from nursing. In closing, let me say that by any yardstick one would use to measure success, Lieutenant Colonel Teresa DeRista was an extraordinary officer and nurse. During her Air Force nursing career, which spanned over 20 years of varied practice in unique and interesting roles and settings, Terry exemplified the care, compassion, and trust associated with the profession of nursing, both here and around the world. We will miss her, but she will not be forgotten. I will read the Nightingale tribute. Please respond with, "Terry was there." Nursing is a calling, a lifestyle, a way of living. Nurses here today honor our colleague, Terry, who is no longer with us, and her life as a nurse. Terry is not remembered by her years as a nurse, but by the difference she has made during those years, by stepping into people's lives, by special moments. When a calming heart, quiet presence was all that was needed,
she was there.
In the excitement and miracle of birth, or in the mystery and loss of life, Terry was there. When a silent glance could uplift a patient, family member, or a friend, Terry was there. At those times when the unexplainable needed to be explained, Terry was there. When the situation demanded a swift foot and a sharp mind, Terry was there. With a gentle touch, a firm push, or an encouraging word was needed, Terry was there. In choosing the best one from a family's thank you box of chocolate, Terry was there. To witness humanity, its beauty, in good times and bad, without judgment, Terry was there. To embrace the woes of the world willingly and to offer hope, Terry was there. And now that it is time to be at the greater one's side, Terry is there. Terry, we honor you this day and present this white rose and light this candle to symbolize our honor and appreciation for being our nurse colleague.
Thank you, Kathy. That was beautiful. Now we're going to hear from David Martin from Wagner College.